to you. Well, I'm joined here at the London Stock Exchange by Alpesh Patel, a Citi analyst. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. All eyes, of course, at this moment on the Dow. What's your assessment of where we are at this stage in the day?
I think it's a lot of scaremongering and a lot of people getting unnecessarily frightened. When you look at the valuations of US stocks in terms of their prices compared to their earnings, they're relatively cheap. They're relatively cheap on a 10-year comparison, and they're only back to where they were about a year ago. I'd still anticipate we're going to be up about 15% from where we are at the moment within the next 12 months because corporate earnings are so strong. These companies are generating profits. And when you look at the hard figures and not the scare stories, you realise that actually the fundamentals are pretty sound with the corporate sector, if not the governments. And
just talk us through how the markets have fluctuated since we got those US joblessness figures, because in Europe the CAC went up, the FTSE though still down more than 2%.
No, absolutely. Well, let's put unemployment into context. We're still talking single-digit levels of unemployment, and that's not something which is particularly scary when you look at long-term trends in unemployment. They're all under 10% for every major economy. And even if the United States, instead of getting the projected 1.6% GDP growth per annum, did 0% growth this year, that shortfall in global growth from the US would be made up for by a small economy like India's, given how much other parts of the world are growing. So yes, there's been fluctuations, and the fluctuations have been happening because a lot of the value investors are seeing that actually these are great buying opportunities.
People have been drawing parallels with 2008 throughout the course of this morning. Are they right to do that at this stage?
No, because when you look at, as I say, the future for corporate earnings, the amount of cash which these companies have stashed in their bank accounts to see them through, when you look at the levels of productivity which have increased because of the credit crunch, companies have let go of unproductive members of staff, if you can put it that way, that you've got companies in a far stronger position. The basic problem is people don't want to own government debt. They don't want to be paid puny 2% when governments are not making it clear, such as the Americans, they're ever going to be able to repay it back. That's the only problem. It's whether or not you can trust government, not whether you can trust companies to deliver results, because the companies have been producing positive earnings growth time and time again over the last 2 years, 3 years since the trough of the credit crunch.
OK. Alpesh Patel, thanks very much indeed for your time. A positive message there. Let's